Klansman, One Order Gang, Jamaica.
We have been actively pursuing the demolition of the gangs in that area, most notably the Klansman Gang. We have over 60 members of the Klansman Gang in custody. Now, there are probably close to 200 more that we are targeting.
Miller is on trial for being an accessory before and after the fact to murder. The charge is in relation to the killing of the former chairman of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, Douglas Chambers, in June of 2008. When asked by the prosecution what role Tesha Miller played in the Klansman Gang, the witness told the court, quote, "Him are the Don," end quote. The witness said Miller, quote, "support the youth them economically and to hold the peace in the community," end quote. The witness explained to the court that support meant Miller gave members of the gang money, guns, and would rent cars for them to drive.
But so far, one of the prosecution's main witnesses has been testifying against Andre Blackman Bryan and the 32 of his co-accused, including one woman. The witness was an active member of the criminal organization, tasked with collecting extortion and also being the personal driver for the alleged gang leader, Andre Blackman Bryan.
The Klansman Gang is one of the most dangerous gangs in Jamaica. They have been responsible for many murders and other crimes. The first major leader of this gang was a man named Bulbie. He ruled with an iron fist. Now the gang is on trial and has splintered into different factions such as the Blackman Faction, Tesha Miller Faction, Bedbugs Faction, and the Termites Faction. The Klansman Gang is one of the most dangerous and influential gangs in Jamaica. These factions are embedded in a deep war with each other and other neighboring gangs. We are going to dig a little deeper into the Klansman Gang and how they operate. Allegedly, the Klansman Gang has over 400 members in various factions. They also have clear divisions of labor, corrupt cops, and international connections. Perhaps most interestingly, they allegedly worked on hits ordered by a famous celebrity musician.
Members of the gang, now turned Crown witness, have given evidence detailing the chain of command and the involvement of powerful people to include the police. The court has so far heard of alleged connections with entertainers Vybz Kartel and I-Octane.
It's not really a surprise that because of its reputation and organization, the Klansman Gang was able to make lots of cash. One of the things it made money from in particular was going into deals with people, then extorting them afterwards. One witness said that extortion payments from public transport were between $80,000 to $100,000 per week in Spanish Town. The One Don Gang, Blackman's faction, is said to make money from targeted killings and weapons trafficking. Blackman and the One Don Gang, an offshoot of the Klansman Gang.
In this same courtroom, in 2016, Blackman, who they said we sent to kill this gentleman, was acquitted by a jury. And today, Mr. Miller is sentenced to 39 years and 9 months.
The One Don Gang faction of the Klan was created after a power struggle in Spanish Town. Brian Blackman, the leader of the One Don faction, is allegedly an ex-hitman for Klansman boss Tesha Miller. The rivalry is at least as old as 2017, and Brian seems to have been the one who started it. He's been killing Tesha Miller's associates since then. Brian's ability to operate freely was enhanced in 2016 when both men were on trial. He was acquitted of the murder of a senior transport official. The accused, Tesha Miller, ordered Brian Blackman to commit the crime. However, it was Miller who currently faces up to 38 years in jail and Brian whose charges have been dropped.
A faction of the St. Catherine-based Klansman Gang was painted on Monday, September 20, as a well-organized and ruthless criminal enterprise that carried out a slew of murders and arson attacks across the parish. Prosecutors pressed home the strength of those claims on day one of the trial of the 33 defendants in the largest and most high-profile gang case in Jamaica, targeting the reputed leader Andre Blackman Bryan in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston. A prosecutor for the Crown, in its opening statement, charged that the 33 collectively engaged in serious criminal activities, that were planned and executed under Brian's absolute command.
It was revealed that the unofficial burial site discovered in Rivoli, Spanish Town by the police in 2020 was as a result of intelligence provided by the second witness in the case against alleged gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan and his 32 co-accused. The court on Thursday heard a recorded conversation between alleged gang members of the One Don Klansman Gang who were instructed by the alleged gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan to carry out a murder of not one but two of their cronies. Bryan allegedly gave the green light to kill the defendants Marco Miller alias Ezzy and Dwight Hall alias Jim Brown because they were suspected of switching allegiance. The former gangster now turned Crown witness gave out in court, quote, "Blackman said don't leave off of the road until someone is dead," end quote.
Witnesses say Blackman laughed whenever he got the news targets or oppositions was murdered. There are many reasons why someone may join this gang, including a sense of being terrified or forced. One of the gang's bankrollers and former drivers has recounted an incident in which Blackman allegedly ordered one of his men to research the country's murder statistics. After St. Catherine was ranked behind two other parishes for its homicide rate, he reportedly mocked his soldiers for taking too long and working their way down to the One Don Gang's hit list.
The lone female defendant, Stephanie Christie, alias Mama, had her own informant within the Jamaica Constabulary Force. In one of the recorded conversations, Christie was heard saying, quote, "We have one police bridging with the down at the CIB, you know, so any little thing him kinda sure we walk one," end quote, noting that the police had high regards for the alleged leader of the gang, Andre Blackman Bryan. She went further, saying the police gave her the description of private police vehicles and their registration plates. The former gang member replied, quote, "A good thing we have him on our side," end quote. In another recording, Christie could be heard asking the former gangster, quote, "How much instruments so we have?" End quote. The witness explained that they were talking about guns. In another instance, Christie, who is a pastor, appeared to be searching for a house to live. She said, quote, "If I even one room I get and pack up the things, just pray the thing go through smooth. Nothing no beat prayer. I ask God for protection." End quote.
A woman is on trial with the Klansman Gang. She was a trained pastor, and she was in charge of the Klansman Gang business affairs and connections with the police. She faces charges such as arson and conspiracy to commit murder. This woman helped fix a lot of legal problems with the gang. Her role was to find out the problem between the gangsters and police to solve it. She was labeled as the middleman for Andre Blackman. Tesha Miller is in prison, but his faction is still active. Blackman is awaiting trial, but his faction is also alive and well. Many of his soldiers was released due to lack of evidence. The Termite Faction of the Klansman Gang is still active. The most dangerous and youngest faction of the Klansman Gang is the Bedbugs Faction.